Ugh, tax season, right? For a lot of us, it just brings this sense of dread, maybe some confusion. But what if I told you that with the right strategy, you could turn tax time from a chore into a real financial advantage? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to build that roadmap together. So, I want you to really think about this. Are taxes just this thing you have to do every year, where you just hand over your hard-earned cash? Or could they be an area of your finances where a little bit of strategy makes a massive difference? That's the big mindset shift we're diving into right now. Yeah, because taxes aren't just some random line item on a budget. They're literally woven into every single financial decision you make, from your monthly paycheck all the way to your long-term wealth. Understanding the rules of the game is absolutely essential. All right, you ready? Let's break it all down.
Okay, so first things first, let's tackle the big challenge. How do taxes actually hit your wallet? Day in and day out.
Look, it's pretty straightforward. Every single ringgit you pay in taxes, that's money that's not in your pocket. It reduces your disposable income, which of course directly hits your cash flow. It affects your budget, how fast you can pay off debt. You get the picture. And if you're an investor, oh yeah, taxes can take a bite out of your returns. Basically, every move you make helps decide what that final tax bill looks like.
All right, so if we're going to build a strategy, we've got to know what we're working with, right? We need to understand what the government actually sees as, well, income. And that brings us to this key idea, taxable income. This is the absolute foundation of everything. Just think of it like this. It's not your total salary. Nope. It's the specific slice of your money that the government actually gets to tax. And that number, it's the starting point for all the calculations. And this taxable income, it can pop up from all sorts of places. It's not just your main salary. It's also the profits from that side hustle you've got, maybe rent you collect from a property, and even stuff you wouldn't think of, like winning prize money. So step one in any good game plan is just knowing what's on the board.
Okay, now for the fun part. I'm guessing this is what you've been waiting for. This is where we get super practical. How can you legally, and I mean legally, lower your tax bill? Let's open up the toolkit.
Okay, this slide is super important because these two terms get mixed up all the time. A tax relief is something that lowers your taxable income before the tax math even starts. But a tax rebate, that's totally different. That's a straight-up discount off the final tax bill you owe. See the difference? One happens before, one happens after. Both are awesome, but they work in different ways. And here are some of the best cheat codes in the Malaysian tax system. Seriously, the government offers these reliefs because they want to encourage you to do certain things. Like, they'll give you a tax break for education expenses because, well, they want a more skilled workforce. It literally pays to know which of these you can claim. And here's a perfect, simple example of a tax rebate. That RM400. If your chargeable income is under 35,000 ringgit, boom. The government just gives you a 400 ringgit discount. It's not a deduction from your income, it's just cash straight off the tax you owe. Think of it like a little helping hand from the system. Even being charitable can be part of a smart tax strategy. When you donate to an approved institution, you can actually deduct that amount from your income. There's a limit, of course. It's capped at 10% of your total income. But here's the golden rule, and you have to remember this. Always, always keep the official receipt. No receipt, no deduction. Simple as that. Okay, so you've got the tools, now you need the game plan. How do you actually do this? How do you file your taxes and lock in all those savings? It really just comes down to process and having good habits. Look, the whole process really boils down to three main things. Number one, become an amazing record keeper. Seriously, the law says you have to keep your documents for 7 years. Number two, understand your pay slip. That MTD, or monthly tax deduction, that's just your employer paying your tax for you in little chunks throughout the year. And number three, and this is huge, remember that it's a self-assessment system. That means the responsibility is 100% on you to get the numbers right. So what kind of stuff should you be keeping? Basically, anything and everything that proves your income and your expenses. We're talking your annual EA form from work, bank statements, and especially every single receipt for any relief you want to claim. My advice, just don't throw anything away. All right, to wrap things up, let's talk about the not-so-fun part. What happens if you don't play by the rules? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The stakes for getting this wrong are incredibly high. So the first big offense is probably the simplest one, just not filing your taxes, not doing it at all when you're supposed to. And the consequences, they are not a joke.
We're talking about a massive fine. It can go all the way up to 20,000 ringgit, potential jail time, or, yeah, even both. It is just not worth the risk.
Okay, the next big no-no is underreporting your income. In plain English, that just means lying and saying you earned less than you actually did.
And the penalty for this, wow, it is financially crippling. On top of a fine, you have to pay a penalty of 200% of the tax you tried to dodge. Let that sink in for a second. You pay double the amount you tried to hide from them. Ouch.
And really, this is the most important thing to remember. There's a huge difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Using reliefs and rebates, that's tax avoidance. It's smart, it's legal, the system is designed for it. Lying on your tax form, that's tax evasion, and that is illegal. You have to know the difference and always, always stay on the right side of that line.
So there you have it. We've gone through the tools in your toolkit and we've covered the rules of the game. Now, the final question really is for you. I want you to take a hard look at your own finances and ask yourself this. Are you actually being strategic, or are you just leaving your own hard-earned money on the table?